Hello Internet, this is Overthinker. Welcome to the channel. We're starting a new game in Minecraft today. For this play, I wanted to give myself a goal based on survival building. After thinking about it a while, I figured, what better goal than recreating wonders from real life? For this challenge, I'm going to recreate Stonehenge to scale, based on the real thing, hopefully within 100 Minecraft days. Let's see how this goes. Before I can start building any wonders, I'm going to have to advance a bit beyond being a naked caveman without a cave. I quickly went through the obligatory tree punching ritual, then proceeded to look for a cave. Finding none, I went to digging my own hole out of a hill I spawned next to. I also needed a bed to skip the scary nights, but I only found one sheep to provide wool, so that'll have to wait. Despite it still being daytime, I noticed the constant noise of zombies, skeletons, and even an enderman, though I couldn't work out where they were. Oh well, out of sight, out of mind, I guess. I have bigger priorities at the moment. With no bed to skip the night, I figured this would be a good time to start digging down to create a mine to better loot and riches. Besides, I needed the extra stone to really enter the Stone Age. Also, it would be really boring just standing in a hole all night long. The next priority was to upgrade to a slightly better home than a hole in a hill. I got started on clearing out the trees to get a place to build it on. Found the entrance to where all those mob noises were coming from. Marked it off for now, since they're not bothering me, and I clearly don't have the means to fight them all right now. Still didn't have a bed, so I kept digging, found some iron for later. When the sun came back out, I kept working on clearing the home area of trees. With my Stone Age tools, it was slow going. Although I had iron ore, I wanted to wait until I had 64 iron to get the satisfaction of smelting a full stack. I know this is probably not helping me get to Stonehenge in 100 days, but I can't help it. It's just a thing with me. At night, I kept mining as usual towards diamond level. I finished the night getting there, and even found my first diamonds as I reached Y level 12. Things are looking auspicious so far. With the diamonds discovered, I decided to bite the bullet and start smelting iron early in order to be able to mine it. Oh well, at least 16 divides evenly into 64. On day 4, I walked out and chopped down some more trees. Partway through, I saw a small fire out in the distance. I thought about investigating it, but I'm on the clock. I ignored it and carried on. By the time I had enough space cleared out for a basic starter house, it was already nightfall. Not wanting to challenge the local wildlife with just a stone sword, I went back to the mines and collected my first diamonds with my first iron pickaxe. I noticed I was running low on food. I came back up to start my first wheat farm. I did need food soon though, so I took a dive in the nearby river for some salmon fishing. It took the rest of the day, but I should have enough sustenance to hold me over until the wheat grows. That night I went and found more diamonds. On day 5 I began the starter house, starting with killing my first mob. I knew I was going to need some space for both storage and workstations. I started with digging out what would be my basement. The sun was setting by the time I had a good basement dug out, so I was going to have to go back to my hole for now. With no bed still, I decided to return to the mines for more resources, but not before taking a moment to admire my first rainstorm. On the next day, I continued digging out my new basement. There we go. Now I just need to beautify the place a bit with some bricks. If only I had any. Looks like it's going to be a while before my furnaces are done with that. Time to spend the night mining. Got back from the mines just before dawn to pick up my now finished stone bricks. I finished the day by having a couple of creepers help me with remodeling the hill. With the basement dug out, I got to work installing the floor and walls. As you can see, there's still a bunch of digging left to do too. I also miscalculated how much stone brick I was going to need. Looks like it's going to take more time to finish this house. While waiting and thinking about what to do next, I came up with this idea of connecting this new basement to my existing mining tunnel. I got started on it, but I didn't want to dig an entrance into my existing home to the outside world before my new house was ready. I went mining early, while waiting for more stone bricks to smelt. At the dawn of day 8, I emerged from the mines to 4 furnaces of smelted stone. I promptly got started on finishing my basement. Once that was done, I moved on to laying in the floor and walls of my starter home. At this point, I felt it was safe enough to connect my new home and the mines. It was day 9 by the time the connection to the mines was complete. I spent the rest of the day finishing up the starter house. Unfortunately, it grew dark again before I could complete the roof. I tried to work through the night this time, but some phantoms put an end to that idea. I still didn't have a bed, so I was back to the mines. Finally finished with the house. Now I got a proper place to call home. I got tired of not being able to skip nights, so I got some shears and went sheep hunting. Bed acquired. Finished up the day by moving my stuff into my new home and using the bed for the first time. Day 11 was my last day as a caveman as I finished moving everything into my new house. Everything is starting to look more organized now. With the move done, I filled in my old home. Sorry, hole in the ground. You will be missed. With my new home done, I took a proper step towards civilization by building my first major farm. This should solve my food problems once and for all. I started day 13 by planting my first big wheat field. I'm going to need more space than this hill can give me. I turned my attention to building an easy way off this hill. There. Now these plains are mine to build on. Come day 14, I cleared away more trees for future projects. While doing that, I finally found the source of all those annoying mob noises in a nearby cave. Oh man, it looks and sounds dangerous in there. Better put all that iron I've been collecting to good use. Alright, let's go in. Definitely made the right choice getting armor first. Wow, this cave network is proving to be a lot bigger than I expected. Now that's the look of a warrior. Once I got back home, I unloaded the spoils of battle, and took a moment to install some windows. Aw, out of glass. Oh well, I'll deal with it in the morning. I woke up on day 15 feeling confused and dull. I initially planned to do some cave exploring. I started by building a staircase down into the cave for easier access. However, partway through I felt this weird urge to just leave and go salmon fishing instead. I don't know. I guess I was bored? Maybe I was just in the mood for salmon sushi. Once that was done, I went home, finished some window installations, and went to bed. The next day I returned to the cave. I really wanted to fully explore the place and get rid of the mob noise menace once and for all. The cave was so long and winding, I needed signs to mark my way back, but I was confident I could handle it. I didn't get very far though. On my way in, I encountered an Enderman and opted to kill him. Turns out this was not the best decision I ever made. Not to worry. I went back in the cave, retrieved my stuff, finished what I started, and decided to call it a day. I had to admit at this point that this cave clearing expedition was just a distraction from my real goal. I guess I'm just going to have to live with my annoying neighbors below for now. Alright. After what happened yesterday, I need to reevaluate my priorities. In order to build Stonehenge, I'm going to need a couple of things. The right tools, and a suitable location for the wonder. The original Stonehenge was built in a grassy field, and was 110 meters in diameter. I'm going to need a nice, large, flat piece of land to build on. To get the build done in time, I was going to need to get diamond enchanted tools as well. I already had the diamonds from night mining, now I just needed an enchantment system for them. Found another Enderman. Now the score is tied. Went down to take a closer look at the fields in front of my hill. Let's just get this water out of the way. Ooh, a lava pool. That should prove useful for obsidian later. Yeah, this place is going to need some work, but it's definitely large enough for Stonehenge. At night, I returned to the mines for even more resources. While I was down there, I got the obsidian I needed for the enchantment table. When I got back, I came home to an unwelcome guest. Looks like it's not over with these Endermen. I started day 18 by getting my wheat farm up to full capacity. I'm definitely going to need it later. There you go. Since it's going to take time to grow all of the paper and leather I'm going to need for books for the enchantment system, I got started by planning out and building a pen for a cow farm. Finished. Well, mostly. I finished up the cow pen during day 19. Now I just need to get a couple of cows. Alright, let the breeding begin. With leather production started, I set out to find the other ingredient I need, sugarcane. I couldn't see any of it near my home at first. It took some venturing out to finally find a source of the stuff. When I got back home, I discovered I already had some sugarcane at home, and had basically wasted a day looking for more. Ugh. At least I got some salmon out of this trip. After recovering from that disappointment with myself, I got started on clearing a space for the sugarcane farm. On day 21, I got back to work on setting up the sugarcane farm. Finished. Now we just need to wait. In the meantime, let's get back to mining for the stone we're going to need for Stonehenge. Also found 13 diamonds. We still need a place to put the enchantment system. I spent day 22 clearing a space to house the enchantment table and its bookcases. Done. Now I just need to build the actual structure around it. I have to say, I really like this new deep slate block. Just the sound of it is so satisfying. Since I have enough torchlight now, I opted to continue working into the night to save time. It was the next day by the time I finished with the enchantment building. Well, mostly finished. I'll get the glass for the windows later. All we need now are the actual enchantment table and bookcases. With the new buildings, the base is starting to actually look like a base. I found another Enderman. Thanks for the grass block. Not sure if it'll come in handy later. At this point, it was clear that it was going to take a while to get the resources I needed for the enchantment system. To speed up the process, I planned to build an auto sugarcane farm. To do this, I needed a trip to the Nether to get the quartz for observers. I started by making some buckets to carry lava. Went over to the nearest lava pool and started filling up. I knew this pool would come in handy. I was also going to need to create another building to house the portal. The plan is to mold the Nether portal out of lava instead of using a diamond pick on obsidian. I got partway through before night fell. I had planned to work through the night, but some phantoms showed up. Got scared, and went to bed. On day 25, after watching the phantoms burn, I finished my Nether portal and building. I promptly opened the portal and went inside. The Nether was unsettling, as I expected. I never really felt comfortable here, which I guess is the point of the Nether, but still. Almost right away, I saw some Nether quartz and even a giant skeleton. Before I could do anything, though, a ghast came along and gave me a warm welcome to the Nether. I struggled for the next minute, dancing into the ghast, until I built a quick shelter to protect myself. I decided it was best to leave the Nether for now, just to get my bearings, if not better equipment. Unfortunately for me, the ghast had other ideas. I was back in my little hole in even worse shape than before. After catching my breath, I figured third time's the charm and went out again. Luckily, the ghast had left, and the flames it left behind even relit the portal for me. Went back out, and took the next couple of minutes to wander around the base and contemplated what just happened until sunrise. After that near-death experience, I felt I really needed a change of pace. Since I was running low on food anyway, I decided to spend the day fishing and hunting. After fishing, I finished the day with some farming as my smoker processed my catch. After what happened in the Nether, I knew I was going to need to establish some kind of base there to keep from getting blown up while quartz mining. I opted to spend the whole day mining to get the stone I needed for this task. I managed to get a little bit of everything, including my first lapis lazuli, which should prove useful for enchanting later. On day 28, I regathered my courage and went back through the Nether portal. I still needed that quartz to achieve my dream of building Stonehenge in 100 days. Through the occasional ghast fireball and unfriendly conversation from the locals, I quickly had a base around the portal. With the base done, I ventured out, mining both gold and the sought-after quartz. The gas still proved to be a problem, though. They blew up the door to my base. I tried to shoot one down, but somehow my arrow hit a pigman instead, causing a small army of them to rush my base through the blown-up door. I didn't last very long after that. After respawning, I went back in, recovered my stuff, repaired the damage to my base, and brought vengeance on the ghast, which I blamed for all this trouble. Finally, I finished the day by getting all the nether quartz I would ever need for the sugarcane farm. Now that I had the quartz I needed, I got started on the automated sugarcane farm. Once complete, this should grant me paper without much work. By morning, the farm was about halfway done. It was around this time a creeper decided to give me a surprise visit. Luckily, I was paying attention. No damage was done. I continued building the sugarcane farm into day 30. By the next morning, the auto sugarcane farm was complete. Since I have the time and resources, I figured I might as well build the enchantment table as well. I will still need a lot more cows to make the bookcases I need for the real good enchantments, but it is a start. On day 31, I decided to do some landscaping around the sugarcane farm. Partway through, I saw some pillagers in the distance. I wasn't interested in a fight, so I ignored them. Ugh, where are all these zombie sounds coming from? Oh, guess that answers my question. I guess an XP farm is in order later. On day 32, I got started on the zombie spawner by mining out a space around it. I admit I haven't built many of these, so I was a bit unsure of what to do here. I wanted to add the ability to turn the lights on and off. That way I can avoid having zombies spawning constantly even when I didn't want them to. Unfortunately, that meant going to the nether for glowstone. In the nether, I found, to my dismay, that the nearest glowstone was way up there. I expanded my nether base as I pondered my next move, ultimately deciding against using glowstone in my XP farm. It was simply too great a risk, and I could always add the lamps later. Besides, the ghasts were already encouraging me to leave. Not a whole lot happened on day 33. I spent the whole day building out a basic XP farm out of the zombie spawner. It is a bit slow and inefficient, and the occasional zombie spawns outside of the box, but at least I have a way to get XP now. On day 34, I continued breeding cows. I was going to need a lot more of them to get the enchantment system I needed to really get going. I also decided to put those dungeon treasures I found to good use. I grabbed the saddle, apples, and wheat, and walked over to the nearest horse. After many fumbling attempts and all the wheat I had on me, I finally got myself a horse. I brought it home and gave it some cool armor. After days of cow breeding, there were finally enough to start getting some leather for books. The enchantment system is now starting to come together. After handling the cows, I decided to take my new horse out for a spin. I hunted down any wild cows I encountered for more leather as I went. I found many interesting things while I was out there, including a village. There wasn't much there, but I took note of it for later. Now that I had the means to travel farther, I needed an easy way to see my way home. On day 36, I built a simple smoke signal tower to accomplish just that. More cows. Must have more cows. Afterwards, I went to take a closer look at that other village I found the other day. It didn't have much, just like the last one, but it did have hay bales, which I took for animal feed. That night, I finished the day by bringing more cows into the world, and taking some out of it. On day 37, I returned to the same village to take even more of their hay. Alright, I think this should be enough cows. I managed to get just enough leather to make the books to make a modest enchantment system, and my first enchanted pickaxe. Just efficiency 4, but it will do for now. Okay, this is a lot of cows. They're all glitching into each other. I spent the next 6 minutes playing Whack-A-Cow to get enough leather to complete the enchantment system. I must have been getting tired by this point, since I had to rebuild the same bookshelf 3 times over due to misplacing it. After finishing that, I noted the little gift an Enderman left for me, and created my first fully enchanted diamond pickaxe. With the enchantment system all set up and ready, I now needed a good shovel for the Stonehenge project. I figured the best way to get the levels I needed was to go mining, as that would get me the stone I would need for the project as well. A full day of mining yielded a total of 34 diamonds, with the last set of 17 diamonds getting me to level 30, just right for a diamond shovel enchant. I started day 40 with enchanting a diamond shovel with a level 30 enchant. With a good pick and shovel on hand, this is the day to start on Stonehenge. First, I was going to need an easier way to reach the flat plains near my hillside base. These flat plains are the only suitable site for this project. After gathering my supplies, I got started with building a bridge over the river. By now, I was feeling confident enough to work outside in my base area at night in order to get more done. I encountered my first drowned, and even got a copper bar from it. Oh, nice. According to the internet, Stonehenge in real life was actually built up in multiple stages over centuries. I'll be starting the Minecraft version from the very beginning. The first stage of Stonehenge was a simple circular dirt trench about 110 meters in diameter, with 56 bluestones within it. The first step then is to survey and flatten an area big enough for a circle 110 blocks wide. As you can see in the plan here, creating circles out of squares is like putting a square peg in a round hole, which should make building this interesting, to say the least. I started day 41 by completing the bridge across the river. Once that was done, I took a quick survey of the Stonehenge site, and started making out where the wonder would be. And already got my first blunder in. Not quite enough space here. Going to have to redo this part. After taking a closer look at the field, I realized just how much work was cut out for me. The field wasn't quite big enough to fit all of the Stonehenge site. This meant I was going to need to fill in this pond here, after taking all the sand and clay out of it. There were also a cave and several small ponds right in the middle of the field that will need to be filled in for Stonehenge. This meant I needed way more resources, as in stone and dirt, to fill all of this in. Time for more mining. Since Stonehenge is essentially a really large circle, I'll start by building out 8 temporary lines of cobblestone to mark out the 8 directions of the circle from the center. This should make it easier to create this circular build with square blocks. On day 43, I built out 3 out of the 8 directions for Stonehenge. I'm starting to get an idea of how truly big this build is going to be. I gathered some sand and filled in some more ponds, then took a moment back home at night to take in the immensity of the wonder to come, then went to bed. I spent all of day 44 leveling the terrain on the Stonehenge site. Did I mention how much I love level 30 enchantments? Day 45 greeted me with a morning creeper. I'm still leveling terrain. This is going to take a while. Believe it or not, on day 46 I ran out of dirt. No, this is going to set us back. Went mining at night to try to get more resources. I'm not sure why I did this. I really need dirt right now, not diamonds. On day 47 I started digging from a nearby hill to get the dirt I needed for leveling the Stonehenge site. After gathering a good load of dirt, I proceeded with filling in the ponds in the Stonehenge site. Day 48 was more of the same terrain leveling and gathering of stuff to fill in ponds and caves. I did find another 20 diamonds mining this night. I should be good for diamond tools at this point. I finally built out the center cross of what will be Stonehenge on day 49. Did more mining as well. There's a ton more landscaping ahead of me. Day 50 progress report. The Stonehenge site is getting closer to being ready for construction. More landscaping is needed. I have to say, building only by day is really delaying the entire project. At least all this XP from mining at night is getting me some sweet gear. On day 52 I created some diamond armor, but I'm not going to use it until I get some good enchantments on them. Also, the leveling of the Stonehenge site is ongoing. Day 53 was an uneventful day of leveling and mining. On day 54, I spent some time farming instead of building for a nice change of pace. I needed to keep myself sane. I think this did cause me to lose track of time though, since once I got back to Stonehenge, I got caught out in the field at night. I had some interesting conversations with the mobs. Stonehenge is starting to actually look like a flat piece of land. On day 56, I encountered some pillagers while leveling the Stonehenge site. I thought about running away, but I figured I could win this time, which I did. Now I got a bad omen. Guess I won't be visiting any villages for a while. More digging and leveling of terrain on day 57. I went to bed early that night, as I was getting a bit tired of mining. On day 58, I'm starting to appreciate just how much digging and filling it's going to take to build this simple looking set of stones. That night, I also installed a rail system to make getting in and out of the mines easier. Day 59 was yet another uneventful day of Stonehenge leveling. On the night of day 60, I found an axolotl trying to swim in lava while mining. Luckily, I saw another one in the water and grabbed it with my water bucket. I also found an amethyst geode while I was down there. I went ahead and harvested some. Never know when I'm going to need it. Not much of note happened on day 61. Just more leveling and mining. On day 62, I fell into a cave, complete with mobs, while reclaiming land for Stonehenge. This wasn't what I was planning, but mining is mining, I guess. Almost there. Just need a bit more dirt. Just a bit more dirt, and we will complete the base of Stonehenge. Day 65. Stonehenge is still in progress. Wow, this is riveting material. Day 66 was a rainy one. I kept hearing thunder over and over while mining, even though I was deep underground. I'm not sure how or why this is happening, but I can't think much of it right now. Got wonders to build. On day 67, I did a little landscaping around the Stonehenge site. I needed the extra dirt anyway. On day 68, I found a mineshaft area underground. I explored a bit of it, finding some interesting items. On day 69, after 29 days, I finally completed the leveling of the Stonehenge site. Whilst mining that night, I found another mineshaft. Or is this the same mineshaft from yesterday? I explored it further, finding more cool stuff, including sugar beet and pumpkin seeds. The first stage of Stonehenge was actually just a simple circular trench, with 56 Aubrey holes around the inner edge. These holes are thought to have once been where our smaller bluestones were located. I know, it surprised me too. The first Stonehenge actually looked nothing like this. On day 70, I got started on drawing out the circle of Stonehenge, with square blocks. I finally finished the Stonehenge outer perimeter marker on day 71. Now I need to place and dig the outer trench. Day 72 was the start of building the outer ditch of Stonehenge. On day 73, I finished digging up the inner portion of the Stonehenge trench. Looks like I don't have a dirt shortage anymore. Day 74. I got started on the outer portion of the trench. Day 75 was more Stonehenge trench building. I also spent the day reorganizing my cobblestone supply and enchanting some diamond armor. Day 76 was another uneventful day of Stonehenge trench building. Completed the Stonehenge outer trench. Now I just need the bluestones for the inner edge. Started installing the bluestones in the Aubrey holes on day 78. We are getting close to finishing stage 1 of Stonehenge. Finished with the bluestones on day 79. Now I just need to clean up some blocks to complete stage 1. I finished stage 1 of Stonehenge on day 80. I also got started on making smooth stone for the next stage of Stonehenge. Thanks to all the night mining I've been doing, I should have all I need to complete this project. The second stage of Stonehenge is the one most of us are familiar with, consisting of a ring of 30 sarsen stones surrounding a group of central triathlons, with a known circumference of about 100 meters. I used 103 meters to get an easier-to-make circle. Day 81. Setting up a basic ring was pretty simple. However, getting the 30 sarsen uprights in place proved tricky, since 103 divided by 30 is around 3.5, or 3.5 blocks. Since I can't place in half blocks, I had to tweak the stone positions around till I had something circular looking. I was only about halfway through the sarsen ring when night fell again. On day 82, I encountered some illagers on the way out to Stonehenge. Not the best sign ever. And I messed up the sarsen circle. I think it's best to start over in the morning. Day 83. I discovered that building 30 items into a circle for a block game is harder than 56, since 56 divides evenly into 4 and 8, while 30 divides evenly into 5 and 6. I'm going to need to think about this. Okay, here's the situation. Since I'm building with 4-sided blocks, it's easy to divide a circle evenly into 4 and 8, but not into 5 or 6. First the square peg into the round hole thing, and now I have to figure out how to divide 30 evenly into 4. I just wanted to build Stonehenge in Minecraft. I wasn't expecting to be trying to solve humanity's deepest intellectual questions. Alright, after taking a break to think, I got a couple of solutions to try out. We could divide 30 by 2 to get 15 stones on each half of the circle. If that doesn't work, we can also put in 28 sarsen stones. 28 divides evenly into 4, and put the last 2 sarsen uprights in front of the circle. Not exactly accurate to real life, but it beats a messed up circle. Awesome! The first solution worked. With 15 sarsens on each half of the circle, the whole thing should have 30. With the sarsen locations complete, I built out the sarsen ring. The sarsen uprights are listed to be 5.5 meters tall, connected with lintons. I used 5-block tall uprights with a 1-block high linton connecting it all together, making sure the lintons were lined up with the circle I had drawn out. By the end of day 85, I had finished the sarsen ring, after breaking my ankles a good 30 times. The next piece for the second stage of Stonehenge are the central triathlons. There are 5 of these in total, standing at least 7 meters tall in a horseshoe pattern, with the central one being 9 meters tall. I couldn't find any information on the exact positions of these triathlons in Stonehenge, so I'll just have to eyeball it. Finished all of this on day 86. Day 87. Next up are the station stones and barrows. These strange dome-like structures are essentially forming a rectangle around the main Stonehenge structure. I started to build these structures into Stonehenge, but partway through, I decided to skip this step. I know this takes away from the realism of the build, but I really like the symmetrical design of Stonehenge as it is, and the barrows and station stones would have taken away from that. With that step completed, Stage 2 of Stonehenge is now complete. The third stage of Stonehenge involves digging out a 18 to 35 meter wide, 3 kilometer long avenue to the Avon River. Okay, there's no way I'm going to be able to build that with the time I've got left. I'm not even sure there's going to be a river 3,000 blocks from here. Neolithic people may not know how to read, but they sure know how to write a tragedy. Alright, I'm going to have to improvise again. I'll create the beginning of this avenue, then add to it over time as I build up my base. It should get to 3,000 eventually. Right? Surveying the area in front of Stonehenge, it looks like I'm going to have to reclaim some land for this. On day 89, I started building the entranceway to Stonehenge Avenue. Got a lot of stuff to clear out. Progress on Stonehenge's front entrance continued on day 90. On day 91, I've just about finished the entrance of Stonehenge. I finally decided to start using my horse to get to and from the build site as well. I was concerned about it wandering away while I was out there, but I came up with a sophisticated solution to the problem. On day 92, I dug out the first 20 or so meters of the Stonehenge Avenue, finishing the third stage of Stonehenge. The fourth and fifth stages of Stonehenge are the Y and Z holes, which are probably burial sites around the outside of the Sarsen circle. They are aligned perfectly with the Sarsen uprights, which should make them relatively easy to install. On day 93, I got started on digging out the Y and Z holes. With only 7 days to go, I'm really starting to feel some get-it-done-itis right about now. Day 94. I'm well on my way to finishing this wonder. On day 95, I encountered some more pillagers at Stonehenge. I took care of them easily enough, and carried on. I finished the day by finishing the Y and Z holes of Stonehenge. On day 96, I put some final touches on Stonehenge. Stonehenge is now complete. Day 97. I admit, with Stonehenge complete, I'm a bit lost on what to do with the last 3 days. Guess I'll just have to add some details to the builds, just like a proper Minecraft builder. There we go. On day 98, I decided to see how much I could get from a full day's worth of mining. I ended up getting ambushed by a creeper next to a lava pool. I lost most of my stuff, including 3 enchanted diamond tools. Luckily, I do have spares, but I think it's high time I put this diamond armor to good use. Not much happened on day 99. I did some basic farming and mining to recover my lost XP levels. Finally, on day 100, I celebrated the building of Stonehenge by making a jukebox and playing a music disc I found in the zombie dungeon. Well, that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.